Hi, guys. I'm Stephanie,
And I'm Tiffany.
and we are
Sisters of the South.
We are back to you today from the SOS studio to bring you another story. And we are in November, so we're doing some Thanksgiving true crime this month. Once that is done, then we're moving straight on into the holiday season. So, which is exciting. It's our favorite time of the year.
Yay.
And while we're talking about the holidays, we're going to talk about SoFly.
SoFly!
Because they are number one in gift giving. So they are a small company here in the Houston area that specialize in embroidery and lasering work. And they do that on things like keychains, beanies, caps, hoodies, t-shirts, just about any type of accessory. And they have all kinds of beautiful colors. And they will take a normal, ordinary cap or beanie or t-shirt, and they'll make it extraordinary. So they do our merchandising, and we would like to share them with you and check them out. But in the meantime, we're going to share a video. And here we go. So back to the holiday season, give them a shout out because they are the perfect company to reach out to give that special gift to a loved one during the holidays. But you need to get your orders in soon because before you know it, Christmas will be here and they need to have the time to make that perfect gift for your loved one. So again, give them a try. In the meantime, I'm going to turn it over to Tiff because she's the one that's going to be telling this story today. So here we go.
All right, guys, before I do get started, I just want to remind you to please like and share this video if you deem it worthy enough, and subscribe for more true crime content every week, which is absolutely free.
Free.
And with that all being said, here we go.
Oh, well, not yet.
Oh, wait, what?
We are 20 subscribers away from hitting 500.
Woo!
So yay. So if you could help us out, we would greatly appreciate it. We ultimately want to hit 1,000 soon, but our goal right now is 500. So
and thank you guys for subscribing.
Yes.
You are the best.
Thank you to everyone. Without you, we couldn't keep showing up here and doing what we do, but you keep us going. So if you would so kindly hit that subscribe button, we'd greatly appreciate it. And we will do our best not to let you down. 2 times a week, we drop videos, missing people or missing persons Monday, and then our true crime videos. So we would greatly appreciate that subscription. So now we can get started.
Okay, now with all of that being said, okay, so Kimberly Carol Riley was originally from Hawaii. She grew up in the small town of Volcano with her parents and older brother James. She graduated from Waiokea High School in 2001. Having spent her freshman year at the University of Hawaii Hilo, Kim decided she wanted to experience more than a typical islander life and set her sights on University of Washington. In 2002, Kim moved to Tacoma, Washington at the beginning of the fall semester. Once there, Kim joined the University of Washington's Hawaiian Club to remain close to her roots and also spent a lot of time with her older brother James, who had moved there before her. Kim only knew a few people in the Tacoma area. Through her brother James, she met the Britt family. James was a Seattle electrician who had bonded with the Britt family members through their love of working on cars. The Britt family invited him for Thanksgiving, and he invited his sister Kimberly. Over 24 family and friends filled the Britt home on November 28, 2002. The Thanksgiving party was being hosted by Joe and Evangeline Britt, who happened to be the grandparents of 5-year-old Jeremy Britt Bayinthavong. Jeremy had just turned 5 on November 7, 2002, and spent a lot of time in his grandparents' home. After the meal, the adults cleaned up on the upper level while several young people settled downstairs to play pool and watch Men in Black 2, which had just been released on DVD. You remember that movie?
I do.
It was a relatively cool, foggy night with temperatures hovering in the mid-40s, and little did anyone know someone was lurking outside the home. While the evening was beginning to die down around 10:05 p.m., the silent air was shattered with gunfire, bullets pouring in through one of the downstairs windows. The bullets came flying in through the second window to the front door. The drapes had been left mostly closed, and the window itself was fogged up, indicating that the killer likely couldn't see inside. Later, law enforcement would speculate that didn't matter. Whoever the gunman was likely didn't even care that they couldn't see inside. Joe Britt, the homeowner, would later tell News Tribune in an interview, "It just happened. It sounded like 8 or 9 shots, then all hell broke loose." At least 4 people inside of the home were shot, including Kimberly and Riley. Harmony Spencer, Jeremy's 20-year-old cousin, who had been struggling with Jeremy at the time since he wasn't feeling well that evening, had been shot 3 times, one which went through her arm and others that grazed and hit her back and near her stomach. Jeff, Harmony's older brother, had been shot in the foot, but the bullet had actually severed nerves in his leg, forever changing how he would walk. Thankfully, the 2 siblings managed to survive, but Kimberly and Jeremy were not so lucky. 5-year-old Jeremy Britt Bayinthavong was the first casualty that holiday weekend, having been rushed to the nearby Mary Bridge Children's Hospital, where he would pass away just hours later. He was followed closely by 19-year-old Kimberly Riley, who had been transported to the nearby Madigan Army Medical Center with 2 gunshot wounds to her chest. James Riley, Kimberly's older brother, had been with her at the time of the shooting, but had left the room just moments before the gunman had opened fire. He later credited his decision with saving his life, considering himself lucky to be alive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Within seconds.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
That's scary to think about.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, very little evidence could be found at the crime scene. Police would later tell family members that they had been unable to recover any kind of forensic evidence, such as fingerprints, hair fibers, DNA, etc., at the scene. In addition, the ground outside the crime scene was not soft enough for footprints to have been left, and bullets and shells recovered from the scene would be sent off for analysis, but revealed very little. Police have remained guarded about what evidence they may have, but it's believed by family members that it isn't even much. Despite there being little to no physical evidence, police were able to gather in the form of witness sightings. 2 witness sightings who described seeing an individual and vehicle leaving the area of the crime scene at around the time of the shooting, just after 10 p.m. An unidentified suspect was spotted by a neighbor fleeing the scene, having run around the street corner or the cul-de-sac, which their house was in a cul-de-sac. This individual had dark hair and was wearing a puffy jacket or winter coat, but unfortunately not much more information about this person has been released in the years since.
Well, that's kind of strange, though, because they only have one way in and one way out in a cul-de-sac.
Yes.
So that's kind of risking a lot. But on the other hand, it was at 10 o'clock at night. So maybe they're basing, maybe not a whole lot of people are up or paying attention.
Well, and
at
a
10
holiday
o'clock.
weekend, so
Yeah.
no one's going to be, they're paying attention to other things,
Yeah.
their own parties, coming in late.
Or they're not home. Maybe they're out of town. So, okay.
Another neighbor that lived down the street recalled seeing a truck speed down the street in the time frame of the shooting, which they described as a dark-colored late 70s or early 80s model Ford pickup truck. This witness described the truck as being brown, maybe light brown, but they weren't positive. And it was also dark.
Yeah.
They also described the truck as having a lighter colored canopy, possibly white in color, and big, bold white letters on the truck's tailgate, which spelled Ford. Suspiciously, this vehicle drove down the block without its headlights on, heading westbound toward I-5. It wasn't until the truck began to turn the corner that it turned its headlights on. Police have theorized that this truck might not have belonged to the shooter, but might have been borrowed from someone, so not using their own vehicle.
Yeah, correct.
And with it being an older model pickup truck of unique coloring, meant that it could easily be identified by friends and family.
Or maybe it could have been stolen.
Possibly.
Maybe. Yeah, it just makes you wonder, though, did someone report it stolen later? It's possible that they'd stolen it, because that's kind of a older vehicle, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb
Yeah.
and be easy to identify.
And a weird color.
And a weird color. Yeah.
Well, sadly, no one has come forward in the years since.
Wow.
So, in a crazy twist, this wasn't the first shooting to take place at the same house.
Wow.
More than 2 years before this tragic Thanksgiving shooting, a similar incident had unfolded at the Britts' home, which thankfully didn't result in any deaths or major injuries.
Mhm.
Joe and Evangeline Britt had been home at the time, roughly 8:20 p.m. on March 3rd, 2000, when a gunman opened fire, shooting more than 23 rounds into the house for an unknown reason.
And not anyone got hit.
No.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
It was a
That blew me
two-story.
mind. That's a lot.
Yeah. It was a 2-story or a split level?
It's a split level.
Okay. So maybe they shot in one floor and they were in another, but still, that's a lot.
That's a lot of
bullets.
rounds.
Yeah.
Well, and there's only 2 people instead of a lot.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
Jeez.
And at 8:30 at night.
Mm-hmm.
So they like doing this at night.
Of course. Nobody can see them.
Kind of incognito.
And they know someone's going to be home.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like the Thanksgiving shooting, more than 2.5 years later, the culprit of this shooting would remain unidentified and remains unknown. It is likely the 2 shootings are related.
Really? Wow. I mean, I would have never guessed that.
Well,
They have to
yeah.
be. They have to be linked.
Okay. Well, regardless, the motives of the Thanksgiving shooting would also remain a mystery, as none of the partygoers had any ties or connections to local gangs or any kind of illicit criminal activity. I just have to wonder about that.
But you don't have to be tied to a gang for something like this to happen.
No.
And
but
you don't you could be committing crimes and still not get caught. So
Well,
it's not
yeah.
on record. Right?
Exactly. But
Yeah.
there has to be some kind of something, right?
Oh,
For
yeah.
there to be 2 shootings. They're clearly targeting that house.
Yeah. And it sounds like a grudge. Like it's a grudge that they're never going to let go, whoever the shooter is, and they just keep coming back until they do what they're there to do.
None of the people at the Britts' home that evening had any prior criminal convictions, and there was no known reason for anyone to have targeted them for such violence. But they are.
Yes, they're targeting.
They are
them.
being targeted.
Mhm.
That couldn't be random if it's twice.
It
I
does-
wouldn't think.
No, and it doesn't mean that anybody in that house is doing anything wrong. It's just
Exactly.
an opinion. You're trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
But someone out there is holding a grudge against someone in that home
Yeah, absolutely.
for whatever reason that may be. And, if they're trying to hurt someone, harm someone, kill someone in that, it's a pretty big grudge. So the family members have to have an idea. Somebody in that home has to have an inkling of a clue of possibly who it could be. I
Yeah.
know that they've got to be thinking about that constantly. Because even if they move at this point, it could follow them. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
the house. It's not the house. It's the
The
people in
people,
the
someone
home
in it.
that they're holding the grudge against. So that's scary.
Well, for whatever reason, the killer had approached the home on Thanksgiving, knowing full well that the house was likely to be full of family and friends gathering to celebrate.
Absolutely.
The window that they opened fire into was covered by drapes and condensation, so they likely couldn't even see who they were shooting. In fact, based on the trajectory of the bullets, it is believed that the shooter was firing wildly, not targeting any one individual or location. They likely just saw figures moving around inside and decided to try and hit as many as possible.
Now, I'm sorry. I'm not recalling. What kind of gun? Or was it a rifle? Shotgun. What was it?
It actually did not say.
Because if it's a shotgun, they're going to shoot randomly.
Yes.
And just pellets are going to go flying everywhere.
The information about the gun was never given.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're holding that close or...
Right. If it's a pistol or if it's a rifle.
Well, to me, it probably wouldn't be a pistol, right?
I mean, it could be.
It could be, but more than likely not.
I mean, if you're getting out of a truck, even at night with a big old rifle or shotgun, that's going to be more obvious than a pistol.
Well, of course, but people aren't really watching. There aren't a lot of witnesses when it comes down to it.
Well, they're also driving a brown-colored 1974
That's
truck.
true. So why not get out with a rifle,
So I
shotgun?
guess maybe they're not worried about that. And yeah, it's true. This is the night that this horrific crime occurred and killed 2 people was Thanksgiving. But the one prior that had happened, that wasn't on a holiday, was it?
No.
So, you know, I'm sure there were people home and it was earlier in the night. They had more of an opportunity to be caught and they didn't give a crap then either. So my only thought on that is they came back, they let time die down. Hopefully they'd forget about it. And they picked a time when they knew that house was going to be full of people to do this shooting and didn't care who they hit, obviously.
Exactly.
They were just trying
Which
to
is
make a
really
point.
sad.
Yeah, because nobody that lived in the home was harmed. It was
Right.
actually visitors.
Yep. Well, Detective Brian Vold of the Tacoma Police Department in a later interview said, "What's most troubling about this is they didn't care who they shot as long as they sent the message. The person that may have been the ultimate goal was in the house, but that isn't the person they shot. They shot 4 innocent people who have no criminal background, no trouble in their life. They were just seated at the wrong place at the wrong time."
Absolutely.
The deaths of Kimberly Riley and Jeremy Britt Bayinthavong remain unsolved to this day, with both their families continuing to remember the 2 precious lives that were lost that Thanksgiving evening. The owners of the home, Joe and Evangelina Britt, would move out of their home shortly after the shooting, not only finding it unsafe to continue living there, but being able to do so knowing what happened to their grandson. In the years after the shooting, they would find themselves unable to celebrate Thanksgiving and continue to struggle with this loss.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, just the PTSD that they probably have from around any holiday gathering, especially at their house, if they even still have them. Not to mention the people coming to their home. Since
Yeah.
no one's been caught in this crime, I'm sure it crosses people's minds that that could happen again.
well, anywhere that they live. If
Anywhere.
they targeted them twice,
Yes.
why wouldn't they a third time at their new home?
And who's to say if this person's, that hell bent on getting them, they could follow them to another location.
Well, and this has
And do
been a
it.
while. It hasn't happened again. I wonder if that was just a message, but you would think that message would have been sent the first time.
Right. Yeah. Very strange.
Maybe they wanted to hurt them in some way.
Yeah. Well, it's strange and it's sad at
Yeah.
the same time. And obviously, you would think that the spent shells or bullets, whichever ones that they found at the crime scene, did they find fingerprints?
Well, that's what they were saying. They had no fingerprints,
Yeah, no
no
DNA or nothing. But that's weird. So this person must have used gloves or something when he was loading the gun.
Planned it out.
Planned it out. Yeah, that's so sad.
It is.
Well, what we'll do, guys, is if anybody out there hears this and has any information on any of this, or if you were in that area at that time and saw something strange, or if you've heard something, we'll put the information in our description box for you to reach out to law enforcement that's handling this unsolved crime. I think it's important that the family find justice in this because obviously, or more than likely, these people are still out there and could be harming other people. So, yeah, we'll put that information in the description box just in case anyone out there knows anything because it's so sad.
Yeah, very sad.
You need to get them off the streets. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, because they don't care who they hurt.
No, they didn't even hurt. I mean, they mentally hurt the people that lived there, but they didn't physically harm those people.
Yeah.
It was innocent bystanders. And not saying that the people that own the home, had done anything wrong, just that they
For whatever reason they were targeted.
That's right. So, yeah, we definitely need to get these culprits off the streets. We don't need those kind of people running around. So, for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, so.
All right, guys, we are done for today.
We want to hear your comments on this. What do you think? I mean, do you think it's Do you think it's some sort of gang related crime? Someone holding a grudge? Have you heard about the story? What are your thoughts on it? And again, if you live in that area and you know something about it, please share it with us. We like to hear that. We like to see what your comments are. I just think it's sad. And coming to the holiday season, we want to wish everybody the best, and prayers go up to these families who have had crimes happen, especially during the holiday season. Any time is bad, but the holiday season, it's even more sad
Yeah.
that anybody would take that joy away from
Well,
anybody.
yeah, they were just hanging out for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, just a gathering,
Mhm.
eating, enjoying, fellowshipping, and then someone just
Ruined
took
it.
that joy away and ruined it. So, yeah, let us know what you think, guys, and we'll be bringing you another story really soon. Keep an eye out on our Missing Person Monday show, which will drop on Monday, every Monday. And so until our next video,
Remember to see the
see the good
good and
and
stay
stay
in
perfectly
perfectly
perfect.
perfect. Bye, guys.
Thank you.